everyone, welcome to Crazy Nice. I'm X698.
And I'm MARK5000.
And this is episode 3. Thank you guys so much for your support. In this episode, we're actually gonna show you guys a professional game which MARK5000 has studied. And it involves a Tengen opening which we talked about in the previous episode.
Yes, here is the Tengen move. Woo! Aren't we excited?
Hey! Alright, so first of all, tell me...
You know who else was excited? Was the people who organized this 9x9 game. It actually, the background is, it's intended to celebrate Iyama Yuta's 6th straight title win. This was 2 years ago in 2013. The game is between Iyama Yuta, 9-dan professional, and Yuki Satoshi, also 9-dan professional. So this is some high caliber stuff here. And it's starring the first opening moves, which we discussed in our last video. So how appropriate.
Alright, so what happened here? What did Black respond?
Black responded with the attachment. This was the second move we talked about in the last time. We also talked about G5, and G5 is a bit more common, but recently this move has started to come up. As we said in the opening video, it may seem strange to attach, but attachments and contact plays in general are very common on the 9x9 board for reasons we talked about at that time.
Fighting pattern, I like it.
Yes, white crosscuts. And Atari in this direction. And extend out. So this is pretty normal. We went over this variation last time, so we can't talk about it too much.
Right.
Black jumps. And white extends here. Now, this we have a couple choices. We could defend here. This is fine. I think the reason you didn't play it was because Black can get a large right side.
Yeah.
And another move might be here. But actually, this game, there's an interesting story behind it. This happened a couple years ago between Cho Shun-sung and 9-dan Professional and the Mogobot. And actually, when the professional player got to this point, he, as the white player, he looked at all the variations, and he actually was heartbroken because in his reading that he lost the game already.
He read all the variations? That's amazing.
For now, we'll consider maybe this almost a normal move. Black cuts here, and there's a couple more options. You could Atari this direction, and then Black gets a wall on the right side. White's task is to live on the right side, and I think the reason why Black didn't play it in the game was because it is possible. So watch for that.
I see.
You could also play here. Similar idea. You're daring your opponent to invade the right side and win.
Yeah, so I think you're going to go down the path when Black just gets the right side and White tries to live the second group.
Right. So I don't know if it was because of the reading or because that's not the kind of game that Iyama prefers, but Iyama cut in here. This is all normal. And this point, right, we have a cut here, and the cut is necessary. I don't know what else you would do besides cutting. It just looks like the natural move. So here we had the last death throes of our opening book, you might say. In a previous game in NINES, this move was played. In my personal opinion, this move was a better move, and it was the move that Iyama chose. So we'll look at what happened real quick. Extend from this side, because if you extend from this side, then Black doesn't have enough territory, and you're giving an easy life to White in 2 corners.
Right, because keep in mind that the Komi is like 5.5, right? So it's going to be really hard for Black to outscore White if both players get 2 groups.
Should note that this game was played with 6.5 Komi, but in the end it did not matter at all. The winning margin was 2.5 points.
Spoiler alert!
Oh, spoiler, but you don't know which color.
Okay.
Okay, this move is pretty cool, I think. You get the bamboo joint so White can't cut through.
Looks like something's gonna die.
This is a cool Tsuji, I thought. You don't just Atari, that would be a bit crude, but you actually do a low sweep underneath the group. And with this, White was actually able to connect on the top side. So we have a rather large trade here, where Black captures these 4 stones, and White captures these 3 stones.
Can't believe that. Why just gave all those stones up?
Well, I was surprised when I saw the game too. I thought, well, you can't win the game if you have these stones. But actually, upon counting, black gets a lot of good endgame. But it's still white's win by 2.5 points. Congratulations to Yuki Satoshi. Well deserved.
No, it's your time to lose, Iyama Yuta. I'm just kidding.
Right, it's sort of sad irony. I mean, you play this game to celebrate Iyama Yuta's string of victory after victory after victory, and then you play this in a really small board at a setting where everyone's looking at you for this, and then you lose your game by 2.5 points. How?
I don't get it. Like, Black captured so many stones. How come he lost by 2.5?
Well, you take a look at the end results, or even you could take a look at here. Here you could probably see, even if you can't read out the end game, that white is ahead. The reason is that white is sitting on the 5th line, and it's kind of the halfway mark between the top and the bottom sides. So if black gets all the territory on the bottom side and white gets all the territory north of the 5 line, then white's probably going to win the game because white has Comey. And it turns out the endgame moves that we have here, where black is able to push up a bit on one side, that only took away about 4 points, so it wasn't enough to compensate for the Comey advantage.
I see. So after white captured those 3 stones, it was basically just a one-way street, so black must have done something wrong before, right?
It does seem to be so, and in my estimation, I'm doing this purely for entertainment value for y'all, this was the losing move. So if black had played here, for example, white has a couple options. You can cut through here, and you capture the stone and follow this kind of pattern. Black can capture the cutting stones, and then A and B will be Miai. And you can capture the top left, or you can capture the bottom, and it looks like black can win this kind of game. As an alternative, you might think white can capture here, but black can still come down and capture these 4 stones, and then white has the task of living with the top left and the top right, which will not be enough territory.
That's a lot different from the actual game.
It is pretty different, right? But this isn't white's only resistance. White can play here. The difficulty, though, is that black won't come down here and play this one.
Right,
otherwise,
white can just hunt it.
White would come in here, probably. And after the Atari, then black can play this kind of Tsuji move. Mm-hmm. The reason is because when white comes in here, this move becomes Atari, and white can't. White has to lose the 3 stones.
That's painful.
Right. So even if you net like this, you can still capture this way or capture this way. You're still going to have the Miai problem as before.
Right.
You might think, well, we just do this one right away. But it's almost, I mean, it doesn't save you much. You still have these forcing moves, and A and B are still Miai.
So it seems that G7 was kind of the move black could have played in order to save the game.
I certainly think so. I would love for one of the viewers to prove me wrong on this. I mean, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Iyama. He's probably the strongest player in Japan as yet. But in this instance, 9x9 is a different cookie, and that's what we're here to tell you about.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting game, and I still can't believe that white won, even though he gave up so many stones. I mean, it was a very interesting fighting pattern, and it just shows you that on 9x9 you can just do so many exciting things, even though you have so little space. And I personally like this fighting pattern, so I might use it more in my games. But starting from next episode, we're actually going to go back to some technical moves. We're going to tell you more about other continuations after Black's Tengen, and we're not done with that yet. So there's a whole encyclopedia of moves waiting for us to explore.
Forthcoming, A and B. We'll see you then.